I'm going to show you something that has been inspiring me for this trip for a long time, and that is this wall right here is my super map wall. By the way, this map is from a company called Enjoy the Wood. It sounds like an adult website, but it's not. They're actually a Ukrainian company that laser cuts these out of wood. So every morning I have been having breakfast, at night I've had dinner, and I stare at this map. Been doing this for about 2 years. And so the time has come to go down these stairs, turn off this light for the last time, make the trek down the stairs for the last time. But I'm not going alone on this big trip. I'm taking my friend, Mechanico. So let's go ahead and get this trip started. So this is it. This is the big trip that I've been thinking about way too long. Mechanico is way over prepped. This is my neighborhood, and we're about to pull out. Here we go. So I am trying to, and there's an icy spot, trying to leave the high country of Colorado late November, and I am going to go over what's called Vail Pass, which is a giant, tall, high elevation pass. We have a gap in the weather, obviously. It looks perfect, so we should be in good shape to pull this off. Or not, or I'm going to call a friend with a trailer. Yeah, I should have left earlier, but you know what? That's just how it is. There is one thing I need to do before I leave my hometown of Silverthorne. What I want is that classic town sign, because I'm going to be passing a lot of town signs, cities and towns, especially in Latin America. They got those big colorful ones. Silverthorne happens to have one. It's not as big and colorful, but it is a nice one. So let's go get that shot. Start this off right. All right, this did not turn out as I hoped it would, but I set the tripod up, set the timer. I figured I'd come skidding in, do kind of a action still shot, and unfortunately after the fact, this is all I got. So I promise to do better, because I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities to do other of these type of town signs. So let's just put this behind us and keep going. Yeehaw! All right, we are now in the Vail Valley, at Vail Ski Resort on our left. Damn Vail, that corporate bad guy with their well-priced passes and convenient locations around the world. That's all I have to say. And it's still cold. So pretty uneventful day. It was about 3 hours, and the plan was to just get over Vail Pass. So I left later in the day, arrived in the town of Grand Junction, where I'm staying at a friend's house. They are not there. They are lending it to me for me to launch from there the following day. But as you will find out, plans do not go as planned. All right, it is in the morning, and I am in Grand Junction. And here's a product of bad timing and planning on my part. So here it is outside at Grand Junction, Colorado, and it is 30 degrees Fahrenheit, but it feels like 25. There's Mechanico trying to warm up, and this is me trying to warm up. So the good news is in Moab it's mid-30s. So anyways, again, November, not the best time to head south, but at least I'm heading south. So let's wrap up and go. Well, it didn't go as planned that morning. So this is actually a couple of days since that last clip. I did not leave Grand Junction. I am still in Grand Junction at fortunately, my good friend's house here, which is great considering the situation. I went to start Mechanico that morning, and it sounded literally like a coffee can of marbles. You know how people say that analogy? Well, this literally sounded like a coffee can full of marbles rattling around when I hit the start button, and he wouldn't start. So did a bunch of tests, jumper boxes, called a friend of a friend, jumped straight to the starter, still had that terrible, terrible racket from the starter circuit. So we concluded it's either the starter itself or what is called the sprag clutch, or the starter clutch, as some people call it, which sits behind the rotor in the alternator on the right side of the motor. Unfortunately, that you need a special tool and a dump load of heat to pull it off. Something we don't have here. Everything else I can do except for that. So I was able to get a hold of the BMW dealer in town, another lucky break. We have a BMW dealer here in Grand Junction. They can do it. They can do it right away. I just need to get it over there. So I went reaching into a deep bag of contacts and found an old friend by the name of Erling, who lives here in town. I used to ride with many years ago, and he was willing to help. And he's got this badass trailer that he has access to. So he is on his way over so that we can get mechanic over to the BMW dealer to remove that rotor and order the parts that we need. In the meantime, I'm going to go online and see if I qualify for the world's worst start for a round the world trip. 3 hours, folks. I've made it 3 hours into my trip from home, and big problem like this. But I don't think it's a problem. I think we're going to fix it. If somebody has a worse start to a trip like this, I'd love to hear it. Otherwise, let's start working on Mechanico. All right, it's Bring Mechanico to BMW Day. And as you can see, we just couldn't get the big trailer today, so we got the the not so big. And by the way, everyone, this is Erling. Erling is an old friend from a while ago that I've ridden with a few times, and I dug up his name, and God damn it, if he's still not around and willing to help. Thanks, Erling.
This is my pleasure. This is awesome.
It is kind of fun. You have the right attitude. I'm not sure what Mechanico and I would do if we didn't have such a lovely setup. So we are going to make our way over to BMW on the north end of town. They're going to pull that rotor off I showed you in the garage, hand the bike back to me. We're going to come back here to the house and reassemble it, and fingers crossed it fixes our starter issue. All right, file this next event under you never know what happens when your motorcycle breaks down and who you're going to meet. So Erling and I loaded up the bike, and on the way to the dealership, Erling said, hey, his boss, whose trailer we are using, was wondering if we could swing by, and he sees the motorcycle. Erling is a pilot for the dealership chain here in town, and the owner of that dealership chain is a guy named Kevin, and that's who I'm talking about. He wants us to swing by and see Mechanico. So this is us stopping by Kevin's place and seeing a collection I have never seen before. All right, we're making a stop here. The gentleman that has lent us the trailer to use to get Mechanico to the dealer is Kevin. Kevin Davis?
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you, Kevin.
Nice to meet you.
Right on. And this is friend John.
John.
Yep. And we actually got invited to check out his shop here. He's got a few nice cars. Why don't you give us the quick tour?
Yeah, so we got 69 Cobra Jet Cyclone GT, only made in this year.
Oh, man.
428 4-speed. Very, very nice car. 63 convertible Cadillac, 390.
Oh, man.
Original powertrain. Come around this way.
Yep.
64 Cadillac with an LS1 swap. 67 Fastback Mustang with the 427 Carroll Shelby all aluminum engine. This car's made for the track. An original concourse restoration 68.
Let me get a shot over
Shelby.
here.
That's a very nice car.
Which is the Steve McQueen Bullet, of course. Right.
Next to it lives a 64 390 Galaxy.
What year is it?
64.
Oh, see, I want to build a 68, the year I was built.
Yeah.
And the Galaxy is on my list.
Underneath that is a 69 Heavy Roadrunner. Next to that is a 57 Ranch Wagon with the 2004 4.6 Terminator with the 3-liter Kenny Bell supercharger. If we come up to Big Blue here, he's a 68 Bronco with 347. If we come here, this is Beatrice. Beatrice is a 57 oval Volkswagen that just made a couple calendar covers. It should make hot V-dubs. Right next to it is a 79 Bronco with a supercharged Coyote engine in it. And right behind it is my jet boat. Yeah.
All right, so I got to ask a question. Do you have any cars that are fast?
I got a couple that are fast. I think that this one's the slowest one here, but it starts every time.
Oh my God. We're upstairs at the garage you just saw, and Kevin is showing us his music room.
Yeah.
Which is also a skate deck history room and what looks like a guitar history room. Wow.
Absolutely. I'm a Gibson guy, so that's some of the finest Gibsons. It's taken me years to find some of those.
Wow. What, good Lord, man. All playable.
Yeah, all playable.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That is quite the set.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have the amplifier that goes to 11?
That one right there will go to 11.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice. Marshall stack.
Yeah.
Gotta have
With
it.
the diesel head, yeah.
This is, all right, give me, what are the 3 best guitars, if you were to point out your top 3, if I had to put you in that corner?
The top 3, the 70 Les Paul's nice. This is called the Kevin, the custom shop in Tennessee made this for me. All the Paul Reed Smiths a solid go-to. Here's a Theodore. You're not going to see a lot of those in person. This was made by Dean Zielinski. This is pretty solid too.
Wow. This is amazing.
Thank you.
This is a man cave on freaking crack.
Yeah.
All right, just left Mechanico at the BMW dealer here in Grand Junction with a very nice and patient service tech by the name of Matthew. He is also a motorcycle therapist because he sat there patiently and listened to me tell him that no other mechanic has ever touched Mechanico. And then I listed off all the things I'm going to insist they do. And he listened patiently and took notes. So thank you, Matthew, if you ever hear this. I'm going to now wait for this car to drive by. We're going to walk to try and find lunch here because the best restaurants are always near motorcycle dealers. All right, I'm heading back to the BMW dealer. Here's a fairly typical site of Mechanico, that egotistical son of a... It's always dudes checking out Mechanico.
Is this you?
I appreciate this is my guy, yeah.
That's awesome.
His name's Mechanico. I'm supposed to be riding him to Argentina right now.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that was the plan, but we ran in. I'm only 3 hours from home.
Oh shoot. What's going on with this?
Starter.
Oh, okay.
Starter, sprag gear.
Gotcha.
I do the work myself, but I don't have the extraction tool to pull the rotor.
They got the parts here for you?
They working on that next.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been great. They've been absolutely fantastic here, man. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Where do
Love
you
the
guys
inspiration. Where did you get your ideas from?
You know, I am an engineer and I own my own machine shop. And where I live, we can only ride 6 months of the year. So for 6 months, I just work on my bike. And this was just an accumulation of it. It was a wreck. It was a salvage bike that had 700 miles on it. Whole front end was smeared off. And so I just put a KTM front end on it, a bunch of other mods. I mean, as you can tell, it's just an endless string of stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, it'll get me down there, man. It'll get me to Argentina. Just got to fix this one thing. It's always one thing, right?
Did a good job.
I appreciate it.
Cool.
All right, I don't have kids, so I'm not exactly sure how this feels, but I am in the waiting room at the BMW dealership. My motorcycle, Mechanico, is in the work area over there. And they are going to add some heat to that rotor and try and pop it off the crank so I can work on that sprag gear. So it's a major operation in my book, especially since I'm not doing it and I'm letting someone else do it. I have read and heard about things going wrong where they can't get it off and the rotor gets damaged. So there is some possibility for carnage. So yeah, I'm that nervous dad waiting for his alternator rotor to be delivered. And success! Rotor is off. They did a good job, no damage. It's pretty straightforward. So we're gonna go out in the garage here and I'm gonna show you what we're working with. All right, let's take a look at Mechanico's home for the last couple of days. I'm gonna let the light catch up, and there it is, and there he is. So let's first look at a Mechanico and show you what we did. So this is where the stator and rotor and the starter pokes out right there into this case, and there's some starter gears. Those have all been removed. See this taper fit right here? That is why we needed to go to BMW here in town, and they were nice enough to add a lot of heat and yank that sucker off with a special tool. So what came off of there? Well, if we look on our table of fun here, it's this assembly. So here's your rotor, and here is the starting gear. Here is the outer housing. And then here is what we believe is suspect. This is called your sprag, the sprag clutch, or the starter clutch, or the freewheel as BMW calls it. It actually doesn't look too bad, and the surfaces that it goes up against here and in here don't look bad, but there's one thing I don't like. And you see, I'm hoping this shows up on the camera. I'm gonna actually pull out a little bit, because if you get too close with these, it gets not so good. You see that? That is a big band spring that kind of acts like a rubber band, but it's a steel spring that keeps tension on all the sprags. And the sprags are these kind of lima bean shaped things that act as a clutch, a one-way bearing. That spring is blown out. You see how it's kind of not doing anything? So these sprags are not spring loaded. My theory is when I go to start it, these not being spring loaded, they skip. They skip around, they catch, they let go, and they make that god-awful racket I described. All right, here we go. We replaced all the parts. New starter, new sprag, starter, clutch, and all that jazz. Here we go.